Coming up on Mobile Learning in the Classroom, digital resources for African American history. Hi, my name is Trainin, and this is Mobile Learning in the Classroom from TechEdge, and today I want to talk about digital resources for African American history. And I'm going to talk about web resources. Some of them are available as apps, and I am going to use my iPads to show them, but you can use the computer just as well for all of these resources. So if they are available as apps, like the Doc app from the National Archives, they're still available also on their website, so you can use it one way or the other. Both are fantastic. But let me start with history.com. This is from the History channel, and if you do a short search, you can see that you can easily find the civil rights movement, and that's a portion of African American history. It's not all of it, but it's definitely an era that we tend to focus on, and that we have some established voices and leaders, and also we have multimedia results from eras before that. We have very limited resources. Most of them are text and picture. Here we also have a lot of sound, the speeches, video. We've got TV that was already recorded at that time, so the resources tend to be a lot richer. And you can see that there's an article. This is an article talking about new things that to learn about the March on Washington. But again, working with kids, sometimes we need the basic things before we move to advanced things. But you can also see that we can switch over and find videos, pictures, speeches. So these are some of the videos that are available. Here is Rosa Parks, and so it's a chance to really get to experience some of this firsthand and not just read about it. Kids tend to read about this era quite a bit, but then not really be exposed to what it looked and felt like. And it's a great chance to do that. Again, I've talked about this. History.com actually has fantastic videos because they are not extensive, because they are only a couple, 2 minutes to 4 minutes long. It's excellent content, but again, it is short, so if you want to integrate it into a longer lesson or part of a basket of resources, that's a resource that's readily available. So that's history.com from History Channel. And what I love about this is History Channel has great content, but it's actually hard for us as classroom teachers to find it at the time we want or to record the show. Here, it's all available. It's online or on their app, and you can find it there. The second resource that I want to talk about is a resource I've talked about before, and that's HistoryPin. HistoryPin allowed different organizations and individuals to put photos and information online on a map-based interface, so you can see where things happened, and you can see photos or other artifacts from that time and place. This is the Martin Luther King assassination, and these are the days just before. This is where the photos were taken, right at the same location, and this is a visit with President George Bush, obviously later, as a tribute. So what you can see is this is a way to navigate and see the histories and their geographic locations, and to do these searches. And if you search by a specific word, you can find not just specific sites, but also tours that were constructed with that in mind. And actually the National Archives and specific museums created tours around the civil rights era and around African American history. So this is a great way to experience some of these collections of media within their geographic context. So it's not just a thing and a voice and a picture, but also the geography of where it happened, what is there now, and all of that, and the layers of years. So here you can see that you've got pictures from the 1960s and then the later visits to honor that place. So that's a way to see how history also layers itself and how different people address that. So this is HistoryPin. HistoryPin used to have an app. The app is not fully functional as I can figure right now, so I would highly advise to use the actual website to do that. And you can see the collections right here, and it has the collections and also where it is, and then it has some information about it, and it can show it in modern days, this is what there is now, and this is the original photo from then. So you can actually see the intersection of past and present, which is always fun to do. So this is History Pin. This app is from the National Archives. It's called Docs Teach. I've presented it before. I did a short search on African American history, and it's organized by era. So this is the post-war era, and what they have are specific activities around documents that are found in the National Archives, but were developed into fully fleshed historical exercises. And you can see, for example, there's an activity around what happened in Selma, Alabama. And so when you press on that activity, you get the questions and access to the documents that you need to actually perform that investigation. The advantage here for us as teachers is this is already served, and students are not randomly searching, but they're actually looking at original documents and doing original documents analysis, thinking like a historian, and that's really important. And you can see that there is an introduction, then there are pictures, artifacts, and then you can actually see the photographs that were shot at that place, and then there are questions and inquiries that can be done with this, and those can be done on the devices and be emailed, or they can be done off the devices just on a piece of paper. You can do it one way or the other, but again, you can explore these artifacts in detail and really get a sense of what happened that day and how we look at that period in history. So this is, for example, what you can do when you want to look in detail. It takes a second to load, but it's totally worth it. And this will allow you to look at the details of these photos and the different sources that they've got uploaded, and zoom in on those and get a real sense of what the documentation is from that era. So this is Docs Teach, and it's a great app with pre-prepared sections, but you as a teacher, if you go through their website, can actually create your own activities and add them to the pool and use them. So if you've got something specific you're looking for, by all means design your own and do that. They welcome that at the National Archives because they want teachers to use that and to use that well. The last resource that I want to show today is a resource that is available online. And this is from the National Museum of African American History and Culture. And it has a wonderful collection around different themes around African American history and culture, obviously. The museum just opened, and actually tickets were very hard to get in the first few months. It's getting easier right now, but definitely if you're far away from Washington, D.C., you're not very likely to take kids there, or at least often. And so what you can do is you can use their online collections because they're parts of the Smithsonian series of museums. You can actually use their tools very, very well. They've got some examples from other resources from the Smithsonian to build their ideas around, and you can explore different things. For example, we can explore the collection around segregation, but we can explore, of course, slavery and other things. And what you're going to get, again, are lots of artifacts from the museum. And these are sometimes physical artifacts, sometimes documents, photos, that expose different aspects of life for African Americans throughout the eras. So we're not focused just on specific incidents, but actually can explore the larger cultural and historical context that everyday African Americans were working through. So today on Mobile Learning in the Classroom, we talked about multiple digital resources for exploring African American history, and I'll see you next time on Mobile Learning in the Classroom.